Okay, let's do a quick mic check. That seems to be working. Hi everybody, welcome back to another My Tutor AI Squads. This is day 4 of the squads, and today we're going to be covering face recognition. So if you're interested in face recognition, or interested in Scratch, or interested in machine learning, stick around, and yeah, learn some more interesting stuff. Hello there from Comet. Nice to see you back again. Yeah, so just like every other AI squad so far, we will be starting at 5 past. So if you're just joining us, don't worry, you haven't missed a thing. Just chill, wait for 5 minutes, and then yeah, we'll get started. Everyone who has joined us, if you wouldn't mind just saying hi or hello in the chat so I know you're there. And yeah, tell me how your week's been. What have you been up to? Anything interesting going on? Let me know. Hi there, Annabelle. Welcome back. Nice to see you again. How's everybody doing this week? If you wouldn't mind saying in chat, just how you been? Good, bad, tired, excited? However your week's been, let me know. And just to let you guys know, this is, as always, starting at 5 past. So if you're here, just chill, wait to 5 past. In 3 minutes, we'll get started. Comet says, I'm very tired, sad face. Aww, I'm sad to hear that. I'm very tired as well. I can't believe it's Tuesday and I'm already exhausted. I'm all ready for the week to be over. And I don't even work as hard as a lot of the secondary school students work here, because I haven't had a 9 till 3 in 3 years, and I can't imagine going into school every single day between like 8 in the morning and then coming out at like 4 in the afternoon. Just wow, I couldn't do it. But yeah, so I'm very tired as well, but probably not as tired as a lot of the people in this stream. Oh yep, the mod has just posted the link. This is a link to our form, a feedback form. If you wouldn't mind filling it out, that would be fantastic. It just tells us a little bit about whether you're enjoying this, whether you're not enjoying this, and anything that we can improve. Be as honest as you like, because it really helps us out make better squads. So and it only takes a couple of minutes. It's really, really easy. So if you wouldn't mind filling that out, that would be fantastic. Yeah, cool. And just to let you guys know, we are starting in 2 minutes. So I recommend grabbing a drink as well, as this might take a while. I've got Ribena, and I've put it in a little mug here. But whatever your drink of choice is, maybe a glass of water, I recommend you get that now. And just to let you know, we've got about 1 minute left till we get started. So, hope you guys are ready for today. I had to do a lot of learning on face recognition and even make your own face recognition software. Kind of like the stuff that you have, well, a lot of people have in their phones. But we'll talk a bit more about that in about 30 seconds. Okay, that is 5 past, so we will get started with this thing. And then anyone who joins us later on, feel free to catch up. But yes, let's get the presentation on the screen. So, if you wouldn't mind quickly telling me in the chat whether or not you can see the presentation that should be surrounding me. Just type quick yes in the chat so I know. Comment says I can see it. I'm guessing that means everyone else can see it. Cool, fabulous. Okay, I will continue. So, welcome back to My Tutor AI Squads. This is day 4 of the AI Squads, and today we are going to be answering the question, how do I train a computer to see faces? Now, this has been one of the most interesting and quite difficult tasks for computers to do. They're really good at analyzing numbers. They're really good at data analysis and all that kind of stuff. But facial recognition, something that humans are very able to do most of the time. Recognize faces and recognize different faces. Computers struggle with it quite a lot, and we need to develop quite complex algorithms to be able to do that. So we're going to have a little look into those algorithms, have a very brief overview of how those algorithms work, and afterwards you'll get a chance to build your own using machine learning for kids that we saw last week, and also Scratch. We're going to do another Scratch project because I just really like Scratch. It's really fun. It's really easy. So yeah, if you like Scratch, you like facial recognition stuff, stay tuned for that. But just to give a quick recap on what facial recognition kind of learning is, it's similar to the image recognition stuff that we looked at last time, i.e. it is supervised learning, and more often than not, it is classification. We looked at classification before, but just in case anyone... Oh, hang on, I've got a question. Is it possible to do it on other platforms? As in, like, facial recognition stuff? Yes, facial recognition, like, algorithms can be done on other softwares, other languages, other platforms, but for this specific example, no. I'm just going to show you one example that you can use using machine learning for kids, but if you just Google it, you can find hundreds of different ways of being able to build it. You can do it with most languages. You can do it with Python, you can do it with C++, you can do it... Yeah, you can do it with a lot of different libraries and ways. This is just one of the more simple ways to do it. It kind of does a lot of the heavy work for you. But that was a great question there, Brian. I'm glad that you can use the Google. Anyway, back to facial recognition and classification algorithms. Those of you who were here last week will have seen this before, but essentially, facial recognition is a classification algorithm, and classification is where you put things into categories or classes. For facial recognition, this might be my face versus everyone else's face, or my face versus no face, for example. Before I move on, is everyone clear on what I've said? Anyone want to ask any questions? If not, I will move on. No? Yes? All clear? Fabulous. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about facial recognition. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and whoever gets the closest to the answer wins. Who can guess, now this is a year by the way, who can guess when was the first known attempt at facial recognition? Guess a year. I don't think anyone's been able to guess it because it's a lot earlier than you think. But what year was the first known attempt at facial recognition done? Don't Google it, by the way. That's cheating. Anyone got a guess? Okay, Brian says 2014. Okay. Anyone got any other guesses? Feel free to shout any guess. 1999, Comet is closer. Anyone else want to guess? 1990, Annabelle is closer than Comet. Anyone want another guess? 1990, no, it's even further. 2001? Okay, these are a lot of good guesses. Any other guesses? Feel free to shout anything. The closest so far is Annabelle and Inya. I swear someone looked up. No one's got it yet, Brian, so no one's looked it up. Okay, I'll put you all out of your misery. The answer is 1965. Yeah, 1965 was the first known attempt at facial recognition. I was surprised too when I looked it up, but it was by a guy, and I'm going to probably mispronounce his name here, but Woodrow Wilson Bledsoe. So that was the first known attempt at facial recognition. It wasn't perfected at this stage, by no means, but it was the first attempt. And the way he did it, right, he manually input measurements of a person's face and then stored them along other measurements of other people's faces. So when he was presented with a new face or a new photograph, this system could then work out which person closely resembled the picture. So he had a number of different issues, as I'm sure you can imagine, with this system to get it to work. So like head rotation, tilt, light intensity, the angle of the light, aging, facial expression, if someone's smiling or frowning. He had so many other factors that while his system, like the same process, is kind of used today, there were so many factors that it was pretty much impossible. But today we actually have facial recognition. So how did we get from there to where we are now? Well, facial recognition works in 3 stages. So the first stage is called the detection stage, right? And this is where it needs to actually find the face wherever it is on the camera. Then it needs to analyze the face. So this is kind of an image of what it kind of does. So it maps and reads the facial geometry and the facial expressions. So it identifies facial landmarks that are key distinguishing a face from other objects. So it can look for things like the distance between the eyes, the distance from the forehead to the chin, distance between nose and mouth, how deep the eye sockets, what are the shape of the lips, the ears, the chin, the cheekbones. It looks for all of these different facial landmarks. And what it does with all this data, right, is it converts it into a string of numbers. And then that string of numbers can then be used in the reversal process to then reconstruct a face. So then once you have a bunch of numbers, you can then compare this face to other faces that you've looked at, and then you can actually recognize someone's face. I think that's a pretty clever way of doing it. And if I was to, you could go into a lot more detail about that process, but that's the basic gist of it. So, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Does anyone have any questions on that process of how it works? Detection, analyzing all the different facial landmarks, converting it to a string, and then using it to recognize anyone. Anyone got any questions? No? It's okay if you don't. It's quite a difficult subject. So Brian says Brian. No, none, no. Fabulous. Okay, well, without further ado, let's build a phone unlocker. So probably one of the most known uses of facial recognition is in phones. Anyone here ever used Face ID, or holding your phone to your face and then it unlocks the phone? Anyone got that on their phones? Okay, Michael does. Anyone else? Annabelle does. Okay, so you're very familiar with the concept. I'm glad I don't have to explain it. So basically, you're going to recreate your own, and we're going to do it with machine learning for kids. Now, I will just reset the link, and I'll send it to you guys. I'll put it in the chat. Brian doesn't have facial recognition on his phone. That's fair enough. Not everyone does. But hopefully most people here should be familiar with the concept. Yeah. So this is the website we're going to be using today. Those of you here, last week, should be kind of familiar with it. Okay. And then when everyone's ready, let me know, and we'll get started. So just type yes in the chat when you're ready to go. Will I need a webcam for this? Yes. Asterisk, asterisk. It helps if you've got a webcam. There is another way of doing it. You can I believe you can upload images from your computer, so you could take an image with like your phone or whatever device you have and then upload it. But it's a lot easier to do if you have a webcam. The other option is you could make facial recognition software using maybe images online as well. If you could think of a particular celebrity, you might be able to use that. But yeah, I would recommend Brian using a webcam for this. But yeah, it seems like people are ready to go, so I will just, get started. So, hang on, I'll explain what I just did there. Whoops. So, to get started, you press the button, get started, and it brings you to this here. You can try out it now without registering, so I'd like everyone to click try it now, and it brings you to this screen here. I was Harry Styles. Fabulous. So yeah, we're going to create a new project today. So you're going to add a new project, and we're going to call this project Face Lock. And we want it to recognize images today, because our face is an image. And then you can just click the word create, and then a project is now created. So I can now click on this. We have one project in here. I can click on Face Lock, and now I have my Face Lock project. Now those of you last week should be able to see the 3 different steps to creating an AI: training, learning, testing, and then the 4th step, which is actually doing something with it. So the first thing that we need to do whenever creating a machine learning model is we need to train it on images. So we are going to create 2 different labels. One of them is going to be called granted, and the other one is going to be called denied. Okay. So in the granted label, you're going to put face pictures of, unsurprisingly, yourself. You want to be allowed into your face recognition, face unlocker. So you're going to use your webcam. There we go. And take some photos of yourself. So I'm going to just do this here. You can also change up how you do it. If you want to, get some different angles, focuses, distances from the webcam. The more variation the computer has to learn from, the better. But you'll want to do about 10 examples of your face. So I'm going to stop trying to look at my other screen and take some photos. Okay. There we go. Nearly there. You also, for those of you who don't have a webcam, you have the option to upload images from online. So if you want to have one where Harry Styles unlocks the phone and then any other photo of a celebrity doesn't unlock the phone, you can do that. So then once you have your 10 images of yourself, in the denied section, you can have either photos of other people's faces, or what I like to do is just have photos of my background. So if you've got some friends with you, you can use your friends' faces, Or you can do what I do, and I just duck out and take about 10 photos of my background without me in it. Oh. My webcam's just gone offline, that's fabulous. Let's just try and get that back online. Why does this always happen every time I try and use the webcam in more than one website? There we go, we're back. Okay. Oh yes, I forgot. I was not taking photos of myself. Okay, so when everyone's done with this and they're ready for me to move on and they've got all their database, if you will, let me know and I will move on. Homer's done, Michael's done. I'll wait for at least one other person to say that they're done and then I'll move on. Just out of interest, did people use their faces? Did people use like celebrities? What did everyone do? Okay, I've got 4 people saying done. I'm gonna move on. So yeah, once you have your lovely database, you're gonna click back to project, and just like before, like we did last time, you're gonna click learn and test, and this will allow your machine learning model to train. Michael used the background, just like me. Brilliant. I used Harry Styles pictures because I don't have a webcam. Fair enough. But yeah, now what you can do is you can train your machine learning model. This will then use the images to try and figure out when you're seeing your face and when you're seeing either other people's faces or the background. Depending on what's running on your computer, this may take longer than expected. I'm currently streaming and running all this software in the background on my computer, so it might take a little bit longer than yours. But yeah, we'll just wait for a few seconds for it to work. There we go. And now that is all trained. And if you want to, you can test it. So I'm going to test it with a webcam to see if it worked. So if I have a photo of my face, let's see if it works. Hang on. It thinks it's granted with 100% confidence. And then if I get out of the camera like that, it's denied. Okay, that's a pretty good model. I quite like that. If your model is not working, let's say it's saying granted when it should be saying denied or vice versa, I would recommend having a quick look at your model and trying to figure out what's gone wrong here. Normally, the best way to fix it is just to add more data. Maybe have a bit more of your face. Just having more examples will normally make it better. Michael says it works. Brilliant. I'm really glad when things work. But yeah, cool. So once you trained it, the last thing we want to do is we're going to make it. So you're going to click the make button, and today we're going to use Scratch, which, who doesn't love Scratch? And then you're going to click open in Scratch 3. And it will take you to this lovely Scratch GUI, which is designed specifically for machine learning for kids. Okay, so then once you've got this lovely GUI, you're now going to, where is this make thing? Okay, so if I click back to project, I'll show you again. Someone's just asked, oh, it's because it's slowing it down. But essentially, once my computer allows me to, I'll go through it again. Hello? Yeah, so at this page here, when you've got train, learn, and test, if you're not on this page, you're most likely going to have to click back to project. So once you're in the train, learn, and test make page, you're going to click the make button, and then you click Scratch 3. If for some reason you can't see this screen, you might just have to click back to project and then scratch 3. Hopefully that will make sense. But yeah, so what we're going to be using today is a project template, because it means I don't have to show you how to design all the stuff. But if you click project templates and you search for the word face, you should see one come up that says face lock, and that is the one we're going to be using today. And it creates this very cute looking phone with a granted sign, which hopefully will happen to you if you've done everything correct. Next part is we're going to create some Scratch script. So you're going to go first to control, event, sorry. You're going to click when the green flag is clicked. You are going to broadcast scanning. Can you send a link to the thingy? What thingy are you asking about? I'm not too sure what you're asking here, but the machine learning Scratch link. The machine learning Scratch link is automatically opens when you click open in Scratch 3. So if you click make, the link to the phone. Okay, so the way to get the phone is you click project templates, type in face, and then face lock, and it brings it all up for you. So it's already a template, you don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, back to the coding. The coding you'll need is when clicked, you're going to broadcast scanning. This will allow us to scan some stuff. So scanning. Then we're going to use an if statement. If then else. So if, we're going to use the equal sign. And then we're going to use recognize image label. So if recognize costume image label equal to granted. So basically, if our costume is granted. Okay, someone's asking how do you do the phone again. I will show you one more time, but we are slightly running out of time. In future, I'll try and speak slower. So yeah, what you need to do is once you're in Scratch, you click project templates, then you click face, and then you click face lock, and that brings it up. And I'll go through all the programming again. Alright. What I'll do is I'll do the programming, and then I'll explain what I'm doing afterwards. So I'm not explaining everything as I go. And then you want to recognize the image, label, costume image, and you want to recognize that as granted. So, where's the broadcast? Hopefully a lot of this logic should be quite self-explanatory. Granted. And then if not, we want to say. So basically, it's going to start scanning. Then if the costume label is granted, like yes, I recognize that as correct, broadcast granted, and if not, you broadcast denied. Next, you are going to click on the costumes tab, and then from the costumes, you're going to get new costume from camera, and then you're going to use your webcam to take a photo of a face that should not be allowed to use the phone. So for me, that's the background. And save that. Then we're going to have another costume, which will be something that should be allowed to use the phone. So, me. There we go. Once you've got those two costumes, I'd like you to click on the stage. And I'd like you to make the following scripts. So, when I receive scanning, you're going to switch the background to scanning. when I receive the... Sorry, granted, you're going to switch the background to granted. And then you can probably see where this is going, but when I receive denied, you're going to switch the background to denied. And that is it. That is all the code that you need. You have just made a facial recognition system. So yeah, basically when you have the front camera as yourself, it should say granted, and when not, it should say denied. Could you please explain the first set of codes? I'll leave the code up on the screen as I leave. So this is the first set of code. This is here, so it broadcasts scanning. Then if your face is granted, then it will broadcast granted, and if it's not, it will broadcast denied. And these broadcasting will change the background, so it'll be scanning, granted, and denied. I can't find costume image. So if you click front camera, then you click costumes. You should be able to do it from here, costumes, and this wee little cat at the bottom, and then you click from camera, and you can upload an image of yourself as the camera. Hopefully that should all make sense. So you've used this model to create an app using a model as like an authentication method. It's very simple. There's a lot of ways you could probably fool it, but it should start to explain a little bit more about facial recognition and being able to make projects at home. No, the code called costume image. Oh, right. Yeah, so the costume image is just this here. This is the costume image. Oops. Yeah, so costume image is just this front camera doodad. That's costume image. Backdrop image would be the image on the backdrop. Costume image is just this image here. That's why it's saying if this image here is recognized to be granted, granted's going to happen. But if this image here is recognized to be denied, then denied will happen. Hopefully that should all make sense. And yeah, just to bring this back. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. Next week we are going to be looking at chatbots and creating your own chatbot as well. So if you're interested in learning more about that, stick around. But yeah, thank you so much for coming this session. It was lovely teaching all of you, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. But bye-bye for now.